Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast where we waste our wine so you don't have to. On this episode, we review
a red wine from Spain.
Going back to Spain. I'm so excited. Speaking of going back, thank you for coming back to our little show here to hang out with us. I'm Joel. Just so pleased that you came back to join us. As always, joined by my two best buds, Aaron and Colin. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joel.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to be here, Joel.
Am I the
Thanks for
only
having us
one
on.
You know, I did this 2 weeks ago. And you guys were like, oh, we have to be here. I should have learned my lesson at that time.
Well, we're just glad you came back.
I was going to
I
say,
know,
how are you
honestly,
feeling? Maybe a little jet
Me too.
lagged?
I was when I came back. So for the listener at home, had a little work trip over to Norway, which was very cool, very pretty, cool experience. I spent, 80% of the time in an office building. So, and I'll tell you this, Norwegian office
life.
buildings, pretty much the same as American office buildings. Really,
Well,
really
no.
similar. Yeah.
No shocking differences. No massage breaks or sushi bars or I don't know.
Well, I will tell you this. Okay, there's two big differences. Number one, you look out the window and there's a fjord. That was pretty cool. Number
We
two,
don't have a lot of fjords here.
we don't have fjords here. Yeah.
You have no
So that was pretty
fjords
rad.
in Florida.
Zero fjords.
No, we're fjordless.
Yeah.
As I've always
If there's
said.
one complaint about Florida that I've always raised, it's our lack of fjords. Everything else is totally fine and going great here. Second thing
Is
that
it?
was really crazy. I don't know if this is just the place that I was at or if this is a, Scandinavian thing, but 1:00 on Thursdays, somebody walks in with just a tray of waffles, like thin waffles, and like a thing of like a fruit spread, and like our conversation continued. It didn't stop. But people just, as they were talking, they're like, yes, and then we're going to double check that the standards are doing the thing that they, as they're grabbing a little waffle and making their little, like, almost like a little stroop waffle situation and just eating it. That was pretty cool, and that is something that I think that we should adopt here in the States.
That feels very Severance-y for people that watch Severance. It's like, now it's time for our 1:00 waffle party.
Waffle party.
Like, it's just like, really, just like, this is how we keep corporate America happy. Here's some waffles and a fjord.
I'll tell you what, it worked for me. I was so stoked. I was like, this is just a thing that you guys do? This is amazing.
Yeah, it
This
sounds
is
awesome.
great.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
only happened on Thursday, too? Like, you didn't experience it until you got to Thursday?
Can't have a waffle party every day, Colin. That's
Yeah,
excessive.
Yeah,
I guess.
That's true.
Where's that in the budget?
Yeah, no, you're right.
No, other than that, though, yeah, I got back. I did that thing where I forced myself to stay up after I got home. It was like basically 24 hours of being up and most of that traveling. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay up 4 hours, go to bed, and try to get back on track. And it worked pretty well. So I'm somewhat back, and I'm 100% happy to see your guys' face again. It's been a little bit. So lovely to see you
Joel,
guys.
stop. Making me blush
Well,
over here.
It's true. It's true. And really excited for the show today because I think we have a lot of really fun stuff coming up. So what you can expect on this show, y'all, we are going to open up this red wine from Spain, give it a try. We're going to learn a little something from Colin White. And then I think we're going to close out the show with a quick game of PiNope or ChardonnYay, which is always one of my favorite things. So looking forward to that. So what do you guys say? You want to get into this?
I'm excited.
Let's jump on into it.
All
That
right.
sounds good.
Good. Because if you don't want to do that, this is your time to get off, and we can just close it up, and
Okay.
that'll be
well,
it. So
Now that you
No,
mentioned
I'm
it,
excited. I've been looking forward to this. I gotta. You were, we didn't record last week because you were gallivanting.
Yeah.
I had the literal opposite week as you. You were out and
Yeah.
about. I was in my home. I was deathly ill. Like you stayed up
What?
for multiple hours to
Oh,
get
no.
to get rid of your flight hangover. I
yeah.
was in bed for 48 hours because I couldn't do anything. So
no
I'm excited.
way.
Yeah,
What
I had the flu.
what went through the? Oh no.
I had the flu.
Mm.
Oh, man.
It was no
Damn.
good, no bueno. So
It's
I'm
going
excited.
around.
Yeah,
It
there
is.
was no
It's
there was no
ripping
wine
right
in my
now.
life last week.
Ooh,
Oof.
man, oh man. Well, I'll
Brutal.
tell you what. this we're all here. This is great.
Yeah, we
It seems
did it.
like after the last week, just us being here is a big accomplishment. So I'm glad that we're at least here. And again, a lot of fun stuff to do here. I know we said at the top, got a red wine from Spain. We need a little bit more information on this. So Aaron, tell us a little bit more about the wine that we're going to try today.
Yeah, absolutely. Today we are drinking a wine from Marqués de la Concordia. This is a Viña Alarde Reserva, 2018, 80% Tempranillo, 20% Garnacha. That's just Ganache,
I like
right?
that.
Grenache.
And
That mix.
it's a Rioja. It's a 13.5% ABV that we all picked up at Total Wine for about $23.
I'm excited about this one. This is really our first competitor to the highly lauded Beronia, right? I don't think we've been to Rioja since then, which, we tried that to 2023, I think. So it'll be
That's
interesting
wild.
to see if we can remember and see how this one stacks up against that one. Because we talk about that wine a lot.
Yeah,
We
and that's
do.
honestly, that's why I picked this one. I picked this one because we love the Beronia. We talk about it a lot. I believe that was also a 2018 that we had. So, we are same vintage year, and we are possibly, maybe, finding a competitor. Like, that's the hope.
We haven't done, did I hear correctly? We haven't done a Rioja since the Beronia at all?
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah, we've had other Tempranillo,
That's
but we've not
wild.
ever done another Tempranillo from Rioja. So
Damn.
I don't know what
All
we're
right.
doing, but
Yeah, for real. Jeez. Well,
Yeah.
now I'm even more excited. Awesome. And this was your pick, Aaron. Why
Yep.
this one?
Well, yeah, like I said, like this is we talk about the Beronia so much. I was looking the other day, and I went to the Rioja section, and I wanted to find something that was about the same price. I'm pretty sure the Beronia also ran us around $23. This was a Reserva, as the same vintage year. So I was hoping, we catch lightning in a bottle, and we maybe find another good one. Maybe it knocks the Beronia out of our wine fridge. We don't know. It is
Whoa.
still,
That's big
like 2
words right
years
there.
later, still sitting in my wine fridge and still sitting in Joel's wine fridge. So,
Yeah.
that's wild.
big Spanish
crazy.
shoes to fill.
I will say too, it's funny. I think I've only gone back just in my casual drinking one time to this one, and I remember enjoying it very much, but I think even that one has been a little bit. So after this, I think you've inspired me to at least go back and double check now and make sure that I still hold that Beronia in the same place, or if I'm just remembering it being even better than it was.
But the fun thing about that I'm finding with Rioja, and I'm sure Colin's going to talk about this a lot more in the learning segment, is I feel like, I don't know what it is, but finding different vintages of Rioja seems a lot easier to me at a decent price point than some other wines that we try. Once you get a little bit farther out, it gets an aging or whatever, and it's a little more expensive. I feel like because of the aging system in Rioja, you can find bottles that are, I found a bottle of Beronia that was from 2010 the other day, and it was like $35, and I grabbed that, and I was like, this is awesome, like this is really cool. So yeah, like grabbing something from 2018, that just makes me feel like slightly fancier than we normally have.
Oh,
It's
that's pretty cool.
We usually do drink our wine here pretty young, especially our whites.
Yeah.
We hardly ever get past a couple years on those. And you're right, it is because of the aging requirements, the strict aging requirements, more strict than in most other regions, that you do see a lot of the older Riojas at decent prices.
That's pretty cool. I don't know why I always do this whenever I'm drinking a little bit of an older wine too. I personify it a little bit. And that your 2010 bottle of Beronia could get its learner's permit this year, Aaron. Isn't that pretty crazy to think about?
Yeah, no, it's
That is really cool.
we were talking about a lot of my friends who drink wine have been talking about like getting bottles from the years that their kids were born, so that they can present them as gifts when they get married or when they turn of age and whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Based on my current budget, all my kids are going to be getting Riojas because I can find bottles from their birth years pretty easy.
There you go.
I can stock up, and maybe, and they'll probably be pretty good by that time.
Brilliant.
You got to be
Brilliant
careful
move.
with that,
You've
though,
hacked it.
because you have to find a wine that's worth aging, because if not, that is going to be absolute trash by the time they turn 21.
Yeah, I say for their wedding. And it's
Gee,
just
thanks, Dad.
You're 35. Here's your shitty bottle of Rioja. I got Total Wine.
Why'd your dad
$23.
give us an old bottle of vinegar for our wedding? That's super weird. Awesome. Well, yeah, like you said, I hope we find one that at least matches how much we all remember enjoying that Beronia. So nothing else, I think, to say. Let's go ahead and get into it and see.
Tastes like wine.
All right. So the Marqués de la Concordia Viña Alarde Reserva Rioja. Aaron, I'll let you go first since it's your pick. What do you think?
I mean, I think right off the nose, it's really, it's really fresh fruit, really nice. I don't know if you guys call it fruit bomb, but it has like a really nice overarching odor to it.
I would say
Definitely
it's
not
pretty
fruit
fruity.
bomb. It's fruity, but it's fruit bomb to me. It's very much lacking in oak or, non-fruit aromas. This on the nose is not lacking in any of those because
No,
you
for
get
sure.
a ton of oak in this wine. I mean, it is just oaky. And that's not to say that there isn't a nice bit of fruit in here, because there absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some dark plum, maybe a little blackberry in there too.
I like that.
And then there's also Joel. Do you have anything else to add in there?
I was just going to name some of those oak things that you're calling out. Some vanilla in there, some leatheriness in there.
Definitely.
Yeah, but then also just
There's
supplemented by that fruit. But what was the thing you wanted to call out?
Yeah, there's an herbal quality to this, I feel. And that might be the American oak sometimes. And I don't know if this is what I'm picking up, because I don't know if it's necessarily the scent that I'm getting, but sometimes American oak is known to give a dill scent, like dill pickle. And I'm not quite getting that, but there is some sort of herbal note in there.
But no, you definitely, like, to your initial point, you definitely get that oaky, kind of smoky cigar bar. It's American oak, man. And, we know with Rioja, with it being a Reserva, it was aged for at least 3 years, in the oak.
Look at
so
you. Look at the
I
big
know.
brain on Aaron.
I don't
I
remember
like how you
much,
just
but I remember that.
casually slipped that in. You were just like...
Yeah. Well, it was casual
just
until you
dropped this
nailed it.
little- Yeah, I'm not going to let that beautiful gem of information and knowledge that you just laid out there just go uncalled out. That was very nice.
I literally checked my notes.
Well, thank
I was
you.
like, is he right about that? Yes, he is. My God.
Thank you very
Not
much.
bad, sir.
Yeah. So age, American oak, 3 years. So it's gonna be that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really oaky. So yeah.
Yeah, well, let's give it a taste. See if we can figure anything else out here. Switching it up, Colin.
Yeah, you get quite a bit of that. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by tannin. You get a nice bit
It's like lockjaw.
This one is very tannin. We'll get to that in a minute. But you do get a lot of those really nice fruits up front. I think you get some of that blackberry, some of that dark plum. I also think there's some dark cherry in there that I picked up. Maybe not as much on the nose. Maybe if I go back to the nose, I might now, having tried it. And then those oak flavors for sure. What else are you guys getting?
I mean, I'm really digging a lot of what's happening. I mean, I also like. Did you say leathery? I feel like there's like this leathery aspect to it as well, and it's just kind of like the body's really good. It doesn't thin out like some of the wines we've had, where it's just like you get hit up front and then it kind of dissipates. Like it has a nice little aftertaste that hangs around, and like to your point with the tannins, like the tannins are aggressive. Tannins are just like grabs onto your tongue and will not let go.
Yeah, I feel the tannin more, and I was actually going to bring this up. For me, the tannins are attacking the front of my gums in a way that's strange. Like, I don't necessarily feel it all the way around, but like the front of my mouth is really grippy. So I just wanted to call that out, because usually tannin is kind of an all-around experience, but for me, on this wine, it's really just up front, almost lip puckering tannin, which, lip puckering is acidity, but in this case, really the front of the mouth is where the tannins are sitting. So just super interesting, neither here nor there. But
Anyone else feel a little bit like they are smoking a cigar a little bit? Have that kind of aftertaste in there?
Ton of that oak. Yep, absolutely. You get that cedary vibe. little bit of that smokiness.
And I mean, even just like a tobacco-iness in there, to be honest.
100%. And then I'd say probably medium plus acid, maybe medium plus though.
Yeah.
And then I would say medium plus body. It's pretty hefty wine. There's no doubt about that. Everything's pretty
For
big
sure.
here.
But from an alcohol standpoint, 13.5, not a light alcohol, but also not as heavy as some other big wines that we've had. Like a lot, you know, if I would taste this and you would tell me it's a 14.5, I'd believe you. But 13.5 sitting more in that like medium high range.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm getting, sucker punched by any kind of alcohol here. Sometimes I feel like, there's that lingering burn when we're in the 13 plus area.
Yeah.
Not getting any of that, so it's really nicely in there. Anything else anybody wants to call out?
Nope.
Just that
Hearing
this is
none.
Well, no, this is I'll say it's opened up really nicely since we opened our bottles. I opened mine probably about an hour ago, and it's just I think it's really opened up in a lot of different ways since then. So definitely a wine to open up early and narrate.
Definitely.
Decant.
Well, why don't we let it sit here and do its thing and maybe open up a little bit more while we move into our learning segment with Colin.
This is the only thing you will learn.
So today we are going to talk about the region of Rioja and what can you expect out of Rioja wines. Last time we only touched on the aging requirements, which we only briefly skimmed this time. But Rioja is broken up into 3 sub-Rioja regions. You have Rioja Alta, Rioja Alavesa, and Rioja Oriental, which used to be called, if you're familiar with the Rioja region, Rioja Baja. And because of the different soils and climate influence, they actually make pretty different wines, even though they're all within the same Rioja area. So in Rioja Alta, you're going to find more elegant, age-worthy wines. They're a little bit higher in elevation, so you're going to get a lot of acid, a lot of tannin in those wines. So those are wines that you can lay down for a really long time. That might be a good one, Aaron, to buy for your child if you want to give it to them. If you can find one of those.
Like you have to, the context is buy for your child and give it to them when they're no longer a child. I'm not buying wine for my children.
I mean, we did talk about that earlier, so I figured the context.
For those who just tuned in.
Excuse me.
It's a good clarification, though. I'm glad you said
Yeah,
that.
that's fair. That's fair. Rioja Alavesa makes more fresh, fruity wines, and then Rioja Oriental is going to be more ripe, full-body wines. So definitely you can find different wines in the Rioja region itself. As we mentioned briefly, there are different aging requirements for different levels of Rioja. So we're drinking the Reserva, which is the second level. The first level is Crianza, and the first level is actually Joven, and there's no aging requirement there. The Crianza, minimum of 2 years aging with at least 1 in oak. Reserva, 3 years aging with at least 1 in oak and 1 year in bottle. And then Grand Reserva, minimum of 5 years aging with at least 2 in oak and 3 years in a bottle. So
Question on that. So these levels has nothing to do with exactly where it's from or anything like that. It's strictly the thresholds are how long it's aged in oak.
That's right. Yep. No, that's
Okay.
it. Aging requirements only. It's not a quality threshold per se, although,
Yeah.
of course, the higher, you're not going to age lesser quality wines. So usually Grand Reserves are going to be the higher quality products. But yeah, no, it's strictly age.
I mean, I'm such a sucker for this aspect of Rioja too, because the first thing I do when I grab a bottle of Rioja is to look if it is Crianza or Reserva or Grand Reserva, and I look at the price of the Grand Reserva and see if it's reasonable compared to the Reserva. And you also, you got the cool color stickers on the back, right?
That's
so
right.
like Reserva's the dark red, and I think Grand Reserva is the dark blue, and like Crianza's the green. So like you can real quickly check it out and see like, what. How old it is, how aged it is, and go with what you're looking for. And some
they've
Grand
actually
Reserves
done
are really well priced.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with labeling over there, I will say. A lot of European wines, just by looking at the label, you don't know what you're getting into. But in Rioja, they've done a really good job of letting people know what to expect, at least from an aging standpoint, with the stickers and that kind of stuff. So I think that's a really cool and unique aspect of Rioja. In Rioja, Tempranillo is king, of course, but they do blend it with some other grapes, like what we're drinking tonight, Grenache or Grenache, Manzuelo, which is Carignan, and then Graciano. And then what to expect from wines from Tempranillo. From the younger wines, they're going to be a little bit fresher, of course. Usually, as wine age, you get rid of that freshness for more of those cooked and jammy flavors. And then, of course, as the more time the wine spends in a barrel, you're going to get some more of those oaky flavors. So on the Reservas and the Grand Reservas, you can expect some of those more oaky flavors. But in the young wines, you can expect the strawberry, some raspberry, some cherry, some of those darker fruits that we called out, absolutely. Spices from the barrels, and then as they age, you start to see those more leathery tobacco, cedar spices from the barrels themselves. So you're looking usually medium to full body, medium to high acidity, medium to high tannin. So really, just like we can find in the three subregions, the Alta, Alvesa, and Oriental. They make very different wines. You will find different styles of wine from the region with different levels of structure and flavor profiles. And that is my spiel on Rioja.
All right, awesome, Colin. I love listening as you're kind of going through things and trying to relate what you're teaching us to what we're drinking. And again, just to review, this is the Marqués de la Concordia Viña Alarde Reserva Rioja. And I think a lot of those qualities you were calling out align with what we were saying. So
I agree.
Should we give it one more taste before we jump into the reviews? See if anybody has any new opinions or new things to call out?
One more go around for this 7-year-old wine that we're drinking because we're that much bougier than normal today.
Pretty cool. Anything new?
I think that the tannins have calmed down quite a bit because I'm not getting mouth crunched anymore the way I used to be. They're still there, but it's not nearly as intense as they used to.
Yeah, I agree with that. The oak didn't go anywhere though.
Well, I was going to say, I'm trying to decide if the fruit quieted down or the oak quieted down. I think it's the fruit, right?
I don't know. I think probably the fruit. I think you could get a little bit more fruit, but I think it's integrated a little bit better.
That's a good way to
you
put it.
Used to have fruit, and then you had oak. Now you have fruit oak, which is quite nice.
Fruit.
I love
it.
That.
It is. I would say, like, this is what I'm learning. I think I really like Tempranillo. Like, I think just the more I drink different wines, like, obviously, we've had a lot of classics that I really enjoy, but there's something about what I think is a Tempranillo that I experience is this, like, sharpness with the fruit and brightness. It also has the oak around it, just the way it's made, and it's just... I feel like if I was doing a blind tasting with a lot of different red wines, I would confuse them all. But if you put a Tempranillo in front of me, like, I would probably get closer to that than most of the things I could get close to, just because of the uniqueness of the balance. And I really dig
that.
it.
You seem to have a special thing with Tempranillos because you've been just dropping little bits of knowledge this whole time that has been so spot on. So I'm not surprised to hear you say this.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me. I'm like, this is tasty. Like, this is good.
It's amazing.
This is something I can get behind.
And Rioja is pretty unique too in the fact that they use American oak. Outside of the United States, you don't see that a lot. So that's definitely one thing. And they do oak better than most other regions, in my opinion. At least a lot of oak, because the American oak can be so intense. And they found a grape and maybe a way of wine production that really tampers that kind of extremeness that American oak can bring to a wine. So they usually do a really good job at that in Rioja.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think we've picked it apart, called out a lot of really interesting stuff here. So let's go ahead and jump into our reviews.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
As this is your bottle, Aaron, you will have the honor of going last. And
Pretty much I gave his review, though, so we kind of know
agree
how he feels about it.
Know
I've
that.
got a
I was
script
talking
here.
generically about Tempranillo.
What if he's like, but this one sucks.
It's gross.
Well, we'll leave that cliffhanger for a couple of minutes from right now. And Colin, I'll let you go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah, sure. This is a really nice wine. If you like Tempranillo, you're going to love this. It has all the fruit, all the oak that you could ask for. I think the fruit flavor is really nice. The oak is huge, but it's not beating down the fruit in any way. You still get a really nice hit of fruit and then the oak to back that up. So I think this is a slam dunk must share. It's tasty. There's quite a bit going on. I haven't mentioned it yet, but the finish on this wine is really nice. It lasts quite a bit, and it's really enjoyable. So yeah, a must share. I'm bringing this around and showing it to people because it's tasty damn wine, and I even think at $22, it fits right in that slot.
Yeah.
It might not be crushing its value, but I think for $22, I would buy this day of the week. So
Yeah.
absolute must share.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. And yeah, that was going to be, you kind of touched on something that was one of the biggest reasons that I'm putting it in the must share column, which is, yeah, just that finish and really just the overall experience of the whole sip is just really nice. And I feel like, like for my audiophiles out there, I feel like every once in a while, like you'll find an album that's just really good from beginning to end. And it becomes something that like you love to go back and listen to that album. And it's very rare that it's so good the whole way through. And this is kind of giving me that same feeling. Like it's consistently good the whole way. There's things that you enjoy in the beginning versus the end, but the whole time it's just pleasant and nice, and not like it's not up and down. It's just a lovely experience the whole way through, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and just
really
an area
nice.
that we
Poetic even.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you. So yeah, and anytime, again, like my mind was blown earlier when you said that. I know we've had some Tempranillos, but this is our first time back into a Rioja for so long. I can't believe that. So just a cool thing we haven't really experienced too many times on this show together too. So must share, and looking forward to drinking this some more. Aaron.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys, and I'm a little conflicted because I feel like I need to go back and drink the Beronia, and I need to put them next to each other because I'm not in a confident place right now to kick the Beronia out of the fridge. It's like pretty securely in that spot, but I feel like I have to get them both, and I have to get them next to each other, and I have to test it out. I might have to report back in a bit and say, while I didn't make it official, the side thought is like maybe this is slightly better. So I'm with you. It's an absolute must share. I think it's also just it's a real classy looking bottle, and I think for the value, like $22, $22 is not expensive for a nice bottle of wine by any means, and this is one you could absolutely grab, bring out to dinner, bring to a party. It's just really enjoyable and a great bang for your buck. So absolutely must share bottle, and looking into my wine fridge with its hands against the glass, mean mugging the Beronia, who might not be as safe as she thinks she is.
Well, I would grant you this. Do you want to say, because I know your official call right here is must share, do you want to say must share with a caveat that we will do our first ever retrospective rating on next week's show? And you will compare for us the Beronia and this Marqués de la Concordia Viña Alarde Reserva, because I will allow that. And you can, without hesitation, swap those out.
Yeah, I'll accept.
Okay.
I'll accept that challenge. We'll do a little side segment next week. I'll get them right next to each other, and I'll go back and forth because I don't know. A part of me thinks that there might be something there.
Again, since it's been so long since we had it, I get not wanting to make that call, but I would be very interested to see because that was one of the pillars of the really good wine experiences of this show for a long time. So I would love to see that.
And there's unique aspects of it, right? Like every time that we've all kicked out at least one bottle of wine, and it's a sad moment because the bottle was good. It's not bad now. It's an ex-wine fridge wine. But we've never, I don't believe, anyone has replaced a bottle of wine with the same style. They have found a bottle that they really like, and they've had to kind of reevaluate and determine which of the bottles in their fridge they like the least. This would be the first time that one of us says, oh man, I really like this Rioja. I have another Rioja. Which is the better Rioja? And I think that's a lot trickier. The old swapperoo.
I agree.
And this feels a lot better than your whole Dom de Converner thing. which,
Yes.
kind of like if you've been listening for a while, was
Yes.
like, it wasn't really an official post-review swap. Aaron just kind of did it. So,
Right.
this feels
I had the
good.
people behind me. We did a post online. It was
Yeah.
a poll.
But still, that day lives in infamy on this show, and that's why I wanted
it
to
does.
address it
Half
head
our
on.
listeners weren't even born yet. It was so long ago.
That's true.
Not true.
We do
Objectively false.
very well with the 2 to 3 year old demographic, but that's why I wanted to talk about this head on, because I want to give you that space to do that and explore that. And so
I
yes,
appreciate
and
that.
I
Thank you for
had the
giving me that
Dominican
space.
Werner fiasco in my head when I said that. I wasn't going to go into it. But I'm glad you brought it up, Colin, because that was a big thing.
Man, yeah.
All right, so it's pretty clear here. Not a waste of your wine. Very much enjoyed. Almost a wine fridge wine. Maybe potentially next
see
week
next
will
week.
become one.
We'll
We
see.
will see. That's very exciting, but not a waste of your wine. Totally have our recommendation. Go check out this Marqués de la Concordia Viña Alarde Reserva. We think you'll enjoy it. Listen, before we go, would love to play a quick game of PiNope or ChardonnYay with you guys. What do you think?
ChardonnYay.
Oh,
Let's do it.
fantastic. Fantastic. Anybody have a good one?
Yeah, I was thinking about something, and I don't know
Yes.
if this is the most exciting one we've ever done on the show. We've had some real brain puzzlers,
Barn burners.
but yeah, just
Mhm.
wild
Mhm.
wild conversations.
Sure.
But you here's a question for you. I'm going to ask you to give me a whole bunch of money.
PiNope.
Whoa.
Let me just go ahead and shut this down right now. Oh, is there more to
There's
this?
slightly
Oh,
more,
okay.
but you're probably on the right track.
Okay.
You got to pay for your flight. You got to do your whole logistics, and you are going to
Yep.
get to go to a estate vineyard in Europe. You don't know which one. It could be
Mm-hmm.
an amazing one, a historic one, a legendary one. It could be, two guys in a barn who just kind of kicked this off. You don't
Hey,
know.
to be fair, Two Guys in a Barn Vineyard has been doing some wonderful things.
Really-
so
really
if I got a
great
chance to
natty
visit
wine.
those
Yeah.
guys, that's
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
go ahead.
It's kind of a it's kind of a spin the wheel, flip a coin. It's possible. Would you, PiNope or ChardonnYay, risk the money to have to go to Europe to possibly have an amazing wine experience, but possibly also just kind of get screwed?
Yeah, clarifying question. Why are we giving you the money? You said at the beginning you gave me a lot of money.
I met
don't know how that
a
fits
guy
in.
on Instagram who says it's gonna be great.
Okay. Okay. No, that's fair. Oh man. That's gonna be an expensive trip just to gamble on, garbage
Ooh.
or
No, you know what? I'll make it even slightly spicier. It's a possibility of 10 places that it might be. 5 of them are
okay.
5 of the most amazing European vineyards on the planet. 5 you've never fucking heard of them before, and it's literally going to be like a spin of the wheel on where we land, and you'll find out when you get to Europe.
I'm going ChardonnYay because at the very least you're taking a vacation in Europe. You might be drinking garbage wine, but you're in Europe, so maybe after that vacation, you take a little trip to maybe a winery that's great. If you get unlucky as to end up at one of the crap wineries.
50-50 shot.
Listen, I'm a gambling man. I'll take that shot.
Ooh.
All right, Joe, are you gambling,
like
man?
Chardonnay all day, baby. Yeah, let's go. I feel like this would be a cool. I mean, maybe take out the half of it's going to be real shitty, half of it's going to be good aspect. I feel like people would spend money on this, like a blind travel agency sort of situation where you give the money and it's like, oh, this is where you're going, this is what you're doing. I would be so down for something like that. And in your scenario, 100% in, taking on the risk that I'm going to go to a subpar wine experience. Let's do it.
Yeah, as the person with the shittiest taste buds on this show, I wouldn't know if I was at one of the best ones or if I was at a shitty one. I would just be stoked to be in Europe, and I'd be drinking wine. And I'd be like, this is really good wine, guys. And you guys would be looking at me being like, that's normally in a box, but let's continue. You're at a pre-box at this point. The boxes are in the other room. But yeah, so I'm down. I'm 100% down.
I love it.
Love it.
All right, so we're all pretty down for impromptu blind travel, which I think is cool. I think one of these days, this show should go on the road and maybe do a little show from somewhere, trying a little
I'm down.
blind.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I flew to
Just
Orlando, so technically it's your turn.
The
Yeah.
exotic land of Orlando you came
Which
to.
I flew down to solely to do an episode with you two.
Yes, had nothing to do with the football game also going on
Nope.
that week here. Okay. Very good. All right. Listen, I think we've done it. Quick around the room. Let's review. So, Aaron, you put this Marqués de la Concordia Viña Alarde Reserva in what category?
It's a must share. It is sitting right next to my wine fridge. It might be in my wine fridge next week. No one knows. But it is really good for $22. And if you like this style of wine, you should absolutely grab it.
Colin?
Yeah. Absolute must share. Super delicious, super tasty, great value. Try it. Let us know what you think about it.
It's 3 must shares. We think you're really going to enjoy the ride on this one. So go check it out. Let us know what you think. In order to do that, Aaron, tell everybody how they can chat with us.
We spend a lot of time on Instagram. Find us on Instagram. Send us a message. Comment on our posts. We'd love to hear from you. Check us out at stopwastingyourwine.com, which has gotten a recent polish up and looks very nice. You can listen to our older reviews. You can kind of see where we have things ranked. Colin and Joel have been doing a great job with that. Send us an email.
Colin has.
Colin
I wasn't going to say anything.
has
Colin
been up the website. Joel put a
Listener,
lot of
this was
footwork
on
in.
my to-do list for 4 months? 3 months? 4 months? 5 months? I'm getting looks
I'm gonna have
like
to
it was
check
a
the
little
tape.
longer.
I'm going to have to check the tape. Yeah.
Send us an email at stopwastingyourwine@gmail.com. Check us out on any kind of social media. We're around. We'd love to hear from you. And if you are a wine person and would like to come on the show, we'd love to have you. Reach out.
Yeah, please do. Wherever you're listening to us, give us a like, give us a follow, tell a friend. And at the end of the day, we're just super excited that you were here with us. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you next week on another great episode of Stop Wasting Your Wine. And listen, remember, as always, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.